Good day, everybody. I'm here. I'm going to show you how to convert textures and material for assets that you may have gotten somewhere else or older assets and they were never developed for HDRP, URP, or lightweight render pipeline. So I'm going to take you through, I'm going to show you something there real quick. I've already converted all these models you see on the screen here. But I wanted to especially bring attention to these three right here, and I'll show you another few that I've did some modifications to get them to be proper. But this was the original one here, and he only came here with one material, the matte Demon Heavy body right here that you can see, and there was three textures available for him. So if you go right here, because I've already set up this one here, you can see right here there was actually three different skin models formed. They're right here. As you can see, the material changes here. So what I wanted to do is actually have different versions of them so that you had all three of them. So what I did is I had to create a new material, such as this here, create, and you go to material, and I would have named it like Matte Demon Heavy Body Type 4 type thing if I wanted to do a different one. But in this case here, I'm just going to get rid of it just to show you where it was. And I'll go ahead and delete that because I don't need that. And I'm using Unity 2019.314 and HDRP at the moment. I'll give you some more info. So how I got to change the material on these bodies is once I had these created, I also loaded them up with their proper textures as the original one. These were all the original, and the only thing that changed on them it was this here. I always make sure your color's on white right here because it'll make a difference. So then when this was the original one here, I actually renamed them Type 1. The Demon Heavy Body, so that would have three different clear identified types. So what you would do is you would open up the body of it, and you would select the body numbers here. And then right in here, you would see the element type, and all I would do is I would select which one I wanted to apply to it. In this case here, if I were to change it here, you'll see it'll change to the other color, and this would be a different color, right? So in this case here, whoops, this would be the original color. So in this case here, this is type 2, so that's the color I wanted for him, so I just chose that. And you would have to go through all of these bodies here and make sure you change the material on all of them to have it all right. So as you can see right there, they were all converted to have the proper body material on them. That was an important thing to show you, just so you have you know how to create your varieties. And I'm gonna take you over to here. Okay, these girls here, when I converted them, they were all the color white right here. They're all that color, but they're actually supposed to be variants of the greens and the brown one, right? So what I did is in this case here, instead of having white for that color as we had talked about, I know this is not the right one there, but well, I can probably take time to go to her. It's just going to cost me a bit of time here. Orc girl. And then you had your prefabs. And that was the different one. So you had Besh Mesh Afro and your alternative and that. So you had the four types. So you go to your material. And then you have base mesh green here. And then in this case here, it was the body that we were interested in. And as you can see, I had switched the color to be a different color. I'll just keep that copy for now because I like that color. But I'll just show you quickly how you could just change the color real quick. Yeah, that would be that one there. Oops. As you can see now we have an orange lady. And of course, as you can see the head wasn't proper, right? So you would have had to have set that up. But that's how you can change the body colors real quickly by using a different texture color. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to give her back the original color I gave her so that she looks proper. So that was another one, and I went ahead and saved all the changes back to the prefab so everything will be proper. So, there you go. So all these models are converted that way. So now I'll go ahead and actually create one model, and we'll continue into the Super Monster Pack. That's what I was working at the moment right now. Okay, I had just finished the Mutant Monster, this guy here. I just finished doing him, but now you can see he's fully compliant. So we'll close that, and we'll go to Mutant 1. So we'll go ahead to the prefab, and we'll drag one in. And we'll set that to 0 so that he's in the proper place for us. Let's pull him into the camera so that we get to see him. Alright, let's go over a bit. There you go. So as you can see, he's definitely not compliant, and he's all messed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the material right here, and then you can see this is a Mutant 1. As you can see, the material is pink here, and that's our issue with the HDRP. So what we got to do is we come here where it says, it could say standard, it could say Autodesk or something like that material. What you want to do is you want to open this up, and you're going to change this. In this case here, because I'm using an HDRP project, I select my HDRP as my shader type. And if you were using lightweight render pipeline, this would be lightweight render pipeline. Or if you're using URP, you would select your universal render pipeline shader. So you click this here, and then you would see lit here. So that's what you want to do, is you want to switch it to lit. And like I said, it's very important that your base color here be set to white. Otherwise, it's going to affect the original intended purpose of the model, unless, like I showed you in the girl, which you actually had to do that. So if we want to know which textures belong to this Mutant 1, we can go here to its actual folder in the project, and we open up the textures, and we can see right here that it's just one albedo, one metallic, one normal, one occlusion. So those are the textures we're going to go after. And if the name gets rough, you can always just right click this and rename, and just copy the name so that when you open up the next box, it'll make it a lot easier for you to actually complete. But we know it's one albedo in this case here. So we go over here, and we are going to type in 1 underscore, whoops, what happened there? Okay, 1 underscore albedo. And here we can see that they're right there. And now we're looking for a Mutant 1. So we do see that we're in a monster pack, but it's Mutant Monster right now. So this is the wrong one. So we're going to press the arrow down to go to the next one. And this indeed says Mutant 1. This is the correct texture, so that's the one we're going to use in this case here. So we go ahead and put them on there. I like to set the metallic right here on HDRP to about 5. You'll find that if you actually get with a URP or a lightweight render pipeline, that these will actually have the proper name: albedo, metallic, normal, and occlusion. But in this case here, your mask map is going to be your metallic, because if you just hover over it, you'll see that it says specify material metallic, ambient occlusions, blah blah blah, right? So you go ahead and you select this, and in this case here, it was just one metallic. So you can go ahead and 1 underscore metallic. Just M was good enough in this case here, because it brought us close enough. And once again, we're looking for Demon 1 right here. So it's important that you have that, or Mutant 1 I mean. There we go, we have it. That is the correct one. So we go ahead and do that. So in this case here, we know what normal is. 1 underscore N for normal. And we have our normal maps, and this is not the right one because it says Demon Heavy here, Mutant Monster here, or Mutant 1. So that is the correct one. And then lastly, the bent normal map is going to be your occlusion map in this case here. So we're going to go ahead, and it was just 1 underscore occlusion. So we can go 1 underscore OCC, and there we go. It brings us close enough. And once again, just make sure we find Mutant 1, which is there it is. That's the one. So that's it. He is now fully compliant for that. So you just make sure you save your work at this point here. And go ahead and give it a play. And let's have a look at our handiwork that we just did. All these models were all converted the same way. None of them were compliant. So, he has a animation issue. We'll have to see what's going on with him. It shouldn't be too hard to fix, but all the other ones came ready with their animations. So, there you go. You can see all of them there. The only thing we have is he has a small issue with his animation controller. So, maybe we'll have a quick look at that, see if we can fix that. So let's go ahead and stop this. And let's go to animations. Mutant 1. Okay. There's his animation, so why didn't he work? Okay, maybe it's just a matter of dragging him on there. Let's see here. Let's see. It says we don't have an animator controller, so that's very easy. We just grab this here, drag that in there, and that should fix him, and he should work fine. So let's give that a save, and let's just go ahead and give it a play, and let's see if that fixed our problem. And it did. There he is. Now he's got all his animations working correctly. So I hope you enjoyed this, and this can be applied to any pack that you buy that you see that it's non-compliant ready. Simply doing this will set you up in the correct way to get all your models textured properly for HDRP. Like I said, it works in all the different versions. UDP, lightweight render pipeline. What is nice that I've actually tested is that I went from 2019.13 and I used a light render white pipeline and corrected all the shaders properly. And I actually opened up a UDP project in 2019.314. And I took the import from my lightweight render pipeline because I made a small import of 2 models just to test it. Brought it in, and it actually converted everything properly, and everything worked right out of the box without having to do anything. So that was a bonus for that. This version here was done with 2019.314. I have not tested it to see if it actually would be compliant in older versions of Unity in HDRP. But if that's the case, all you got to do is open up your project in a later version and just go from there and just do 1 or 2 models and just try and import just 2 as an export package. And go ahead and open up a newer version and just try and bring those 2 little assets or the 1 asset. And if you see that it works good, then you know it's good to go. So I hope you've enjoyed this. And this was something I did for Andrew on Unity Asset Store. He sells these great assets in monster packs, the Mutant Collection and the Orc packs and that. So these were his assets, and they were not compliant for what I wanted because I'm actually working on a project that's going to be using HDRP because I am targeting after all PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and future PlayStation 5 and Xbox One Plus in the future, and also high-end PCs. So that's why for me the HDRP render pipeline is the one to use for. An important thing to note though is that in the future HDRP will more than likely be replaced with URP, the Universal Render Pipeline, and there will no longer be an HDRP, or possibly not, but it might still be there as a legacy. But the word is that they'll actually be replacing it for future versions coming up that will be finalized. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and how to convert them, and good luck with your conversions and have fun. Bye bye.